This is Daniel Simon at Baton Rouge Community College, and this week I have a preview for the upcoming History 1113 online course. I'll kind of go into Canvas modules for weeks 5 through 7. Of course, it's mostly going to be on the historical topics of ancient Egypt. I'm also going to, of course, be also lecturing on ancient India and also China. So all these are going to be upcoming on different assessments. I know ancient Egypt will be assessed on the first exam. There will be a Canvas quiz upcoming, of course, on ancient India. And in ancient China also will be later on a second exam, which that'll be probably assessed later with ancient Greece when I get to that later in the semester. So let me go ahead and discuss, basic Canvas modules and what's going on for weeks 4 through 7. Now, if you look at week 5, the lecture schedule, you can see that I do continue with ancient Egypt. I go into the middle and new kingdoms of ancient Egypt, which covers up through the 18th to the 19th and 20th dynasties, which really the 18th dynasty was the most famous of the, of course, new kingdom. So I do include like the Canvas announcements with that. You can see that right here, announcement about that part 3 lecture, which includes both those periods in ancient Egypt. Those are the PowerPoints, of course, I'll put in there too for you. So there's the main lecture. I do have like a version which right here, which has first exam review with it. I'll have a review down below, but I think that's a combined version with that lecture along with the review for the first exam. Course discussion section, if you have any comments, questions, and do take advantage of that discussions. I think some classes might not be doing that, and they should be, because you're missing out on a lot of bonus points. So do take advantage of that. But if you go down below here, you can see starting on Monday, February 10th, of course, I will be assessing, of course, that first exam on ancient Egypt. So there is a review section for it. You can see right there, which includes the actual PowerPoints with it. I have a Word document version too, if you want to use that to help guide you for that assessment. You don't have to turn in the study guides, but it can help you a lot with, of course, completing the assessment during the semester. So there you go. There's the recorded video on, the actual review topics, the topics that'll be, of course, on that particular assessment. So there again, of course, there's the discussion sections. If you have a comment, of course, or question about the lectures, and of course about the review as well. So there's the announcement, of course, about the first exam quiz on ancient Egypt. So it will assess those lectures, part 1, 2, and 3. So you can see it's got a due date, of course, established also in late February. Now, if you keep going down into Canvas modules, you can see by February the 17th there, History of Ancient India. I continue with that, parts 1 and 2. It's like week 6, looks like it. And I kind of go into like the background of ancient India. I do kind of cover up through some of the later empires. They have like the Maurya and the Gupta Empire, but it does go into a lot of religious stuff. Like I go into, of course, the background of Hinduism, Buddhism. I do kind of talk a little about Jainism too, as well in those lectures. But there should be a part 2 series on that, 1 and 2, of course. Part 1 on basically the background of ancient India up to Hinduism, and then the second one goes up to like the Gupta Empire, which is, I guess, the golden age of India, in ancient times. There is a combined version too, if you're interested in that, which is mostly has the PowerPoint slides in them right there. So I do have a discussion section right there too, if you're interested in comments, questions about those lectures as well. And then you can see there's the actual announcement, of course, on the Canvas quiz number 4, which that'll be due closer to getting into March, you can see. So we're getting closer to midterm right there. You keep going down, one more section that I've got, of course, listed is Ancient India for week 7 in modules, which you can see Monday, February 24th, about when it starts, week 7. And that's another lecture series I've got on ancient China, which is more into East Asia. And there should be 2 lectures. Part 1 lecture, of course, goes into the background of ancient China, like beginnings of it. I think that goes up to like the early dynasties, like the Shang and the Zhou dynasty, of course, in China. I do kind of talk about a lot of the philosophies of China, like Confucianism. And then also I do kind of go into like the Empire of China. It starts under the Qin or Qin dynasty. You get that particular, Chinese empire forming. I go all up to about the time of the Tang dynasty. Although I do kind of talk about as well some of the later dynasties that go into like the Middle Ages and more into like modern China today. So now these sections, you can see the discussion right there, are not going to be assessed till later. So I'm going to have like a second exam coming up in the semester, but the China lectures, I think I'm going to throw on to something else, which is going to be the second exam later. I'll probably have some kind of assessment for that time period, but it's going to be probably for like maybe bonus or something like that. But I won't have a major one for week 7 coming up. And that is it for this short video on, of course, Canvas modules for History 1113. Don't forget, if you have a question about the course, do let me know, either through discussions in Canvas or also via my email as well. So I did want to remind you before I go, book reports. I think I've been sending out emails about that particular assignment. Do let me know. Y'all should be deciding on which book title that you want for the semester. Do email me about that, of course, because that's kind of an important project, of course, more toward the end of the semester. So that's it for now. I'll, of course, see you off and on throughout the semester. So everybody take care.